So as of the recording of this video right now, last week I just went to Disneyland. I went for 2 days with my girlfriend. So I thought, hell, after not making videos for pretty much years at this point, I'd come back and I'd do a tier list. In this video, we're only covering California Adventure. Now I'm gonna preference this. I've only been to Disneyland 3 times. I went once in May 2011, once in October 2015, and then last week, which as of this recording, it's March 2024. I wanna cover the things I just did as more of a recent experience, you know, recency bias and everything. So I'm not gonna waste any more time. Let's get into it. So first up, this isn't really an attraction, but I've never done this up until this last trip with my girlfriend. Me and her went at, I think 8 o'clock at night, maybe like 8:30, and we did Steamboat Willie. I'll throw up a picture of both of our pictures that we drew right there. Boom. There you go. It doesn't really count as a ride, but like, I'll still throw it in. The main thing I feel like I enjoyed about this the most is that it's free and like, you get to sit indoors. It's fun for what it is, but it's nothing insane. Somebody sits there, they go over facts about the character in Disney and Pixar, and then you learn to draw a character. So for what it is, it's pretty fun. I don't know if I can put it up here, but it is a fun experience, so I'll throw it B tier. I feel like B tier is pretty fair. Next up is Golden Zephyr, and I actually don't think I'd ever been on this until the last trip we just went on. Funny story, when me and my girlfriend went on this, we had just gotten off with the Pixar Palaron, which I'll talk about later. This was like a nice, relaxing ride to go on to kind of like, alright, we need to chill out, let's go on something just real quick, real small. And this is exactly what that's for. I'll probably throw it C tier. It's alright, it's fine. Alright, Grizzly River Run, that shit's going S tier. I'll make the argument that it rivals Splash Mountain. I liked this ride as a kid, but just recently going on it, I don't know, for whatever reason, I got fucked on this ride, and every single drop we went down, I was the first one to get wet. Every little hill when you're going through the caves and everything, I just got drenched on this fucking ride. So I'm throwing it S tier. I fucking love this ride, and going on it again, man, I forgot how good it is. Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, that's gotta go S tier. And I'm gonna throw it if it'll work. So this was my first time actually going on the Guardians version of this ride. And while I think it did a really good job, and honestly, there's parts of it I like better, I think the Tower of Terror had the best queue maybe ever for a Disney or California Adventure ride. Needless to say, I think Guardians is really, really good. Like, I think they did a really, really good job retheming this. There are elements, like I said, I do like better about this ride. I like the fact that it's a different ride every time. You're never gonna get the same song or story or cutscenes, but Guardians is probably my second favorite of the whole park. Yeah, it's gotta go S tier. Very, very top of the S tier. Next up, Incredicoaster. This has gotta be the best ride in the park. Best ride in the park. Incredibles has been one of my favorite Pixar movies ever. Like, growing up, I probably watched that movie 700,000 times. Like, I absolutely love The Incredibles. I can outright say I prefer Incredicoaster over California Screamin'. With Guardians, they're kind of the same to me. Like, if it was still Tower of Terror, I would love it, but like, I'm not upset about the Guardians makeover. With this, I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority. I prefer this a lot over the original ride. Like, Guardians rivals it, and there's a couple rides coming up that do rival it, but me personally, this is top of the S tier, the best ride in that park. Alright, next up, Little Mermaid. I'm gonna throw Little Mermaid top of B tier. It's a lot better than I remember it being, and it's freezing in there, which, I mean, it was starting to get really hot out by the time we went on this thing, so that's nice. And that's points I'm gonna give to these indoor little dark ride attractions, is the fact that it's freezing in all of these, which is amazing. Honestly, this ride was a lot of fun. Like, this was kind of the ride that got me and my girlfriend's moods back to normal. Like, for what this is, really fun ride. Next up, Monsters, Inc. I'm gonna throw this A tier. To me, this is the best dark ride attraction in California Adventure. I mean, I'm biased. I love Monsters, Inc. I always have. And I always thought this ride was a lot of fun. And by the time we went on this ride, it was fucking scorching outside. And the parts of this ride where the little 2319, those guys blast you with the cold air. Amazing. Alright, next up, Mickey's Death Wheel. This ride can go fuck off, dude. Now, I'll preface this by saying me and my girlfriend did not go on the swinging ones. Fuck that. I will never go on those. Fuck that all the way. We went on the non-swinging, which, if you guys know about the non-swinging, they actually go higher. And what made this ride a lot worse is the fact that there was nobody in line by the time we came back to the ground. So without asking us, the lady sent us up right back up again, and we got stuck in the air for about 10 minutes. We ended up obviously being okay, but I'm not doing this ride again. Fuck that. Alright, next up, the Cars ride. The first time I went on it back in 2015, I liked it, but I didn't think it was this insane ride that everybody apparently thinks it is. And the wait times for this ride, I would never fucking wait. Me and my girlfriend did pay for the lightning lane to get on this. I know. But I really enjoyed this ride like a lot more than I did the first time I rode it. It's a fun ride, but I do think it's a little overrated. But I have more positive feelings on this ride now compared to when I did back in the day. So I'm gonna throw it top of A tier. Alright, next up, Toy Story Midway Mania. This has gotta go S tier. It was actually the first ride me and her rode the first day we were there. We actually rope dropped this, and it was basically a walk-on because they were still fixing this ride. We waited about 5 minutes and we're the first people on this ride. Or at least some of the first people on the ride. This ride is the best, like, game ride, I would say, out of, like, Webslingers and the Buzz Lightyear ride in Toy Story. This is by far the best one. Me and her wanted to go ride it again, but none of the lightning lanes were available. And this ride at one point had a 120-minute wait time over Cars, which I like this ride more than Cars, but like I said, I'm not waiting that fucking long for a ride. Alright, next up, probably the biggest disappointment for me out of riding any of the new rides I rode throughout this trip. Webslingers, I'm gonna throw C tier. I probably do like it better than Zephyr, but this ride, I heard a lot of mixed things about it, but we rode this ride late at night one night and we used our lightning lane to get on this. It just wasn't worth it. Like, once we got on the ride, it was kind of fun at first, but then me and my girlfriend slowly realized that when you're actually shooting with your fingers, it doesn't respond half of the time. Toy Story obviously has better accuracy, but it's also consistent. This was inconsistent as fuck. Like, I would shoot up and it would go over the spider bots completely. You shoot a little lower, it goes almost as high. Like, to me, when I rode it, there's no consistency with the shooting. Yeah, this ride was pretty mid, man. I was let down by this ride. And these are all the attractions I went on during my most recent time at California Adventure. Now I'm going to be ranking the things that I've been on before, but didn't actually go on this last trip. And actually, it appears to be only 2 things I've done. Alright, silly Symphony swings, we're gonna throw, I'll throw it right in the middle of B tier. I've always been a fan of these types of swings, and I like silly symphonies, especially because of the music they play, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's just swings. Like, next up, Soarin' Over California / the World. I haven't been on it when it's been World, and when we were there, it was Soarin' Over California, because I guess the time frame we went, it changes back to California. I'll throw it top of B tier. To me, it's not A tier, and I don't really remember it that much. I mean, you just sit in a seat and you're flying over California or the world or whatever, but yeah, they actually ran out of lightning lanes on Genie Plus, so we never actually got the chance to ride it. Oh shit, I actually missed one here. Turtle Talk with Crush I've done before. I did it with my mom and my niece in 2015. I would say middle of B tier. Let me double check and see if I'm missing anything here. I could throw this somewhere in here because I went on it when it was Bug's Life. So, I mean, no, I'm actually not going to rank it. I'm going to throw the Cars ride over Grizzly. Looking back on it, I actually really did enjoy the Cars ride overall. And there you guys go. This is my official tier list for California Adventure, and the only right one. All the other ones out there, they're fine, but this right here, this is the only correct one. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for part 2, which will be the Disneyland rides, and this has been Jake. See you guys in the next video. Peace.